Welcome back, America. I have one of my buddies, really one of my favorite guests when it comes to fiscal matters and so forth. It's Charles Payne, Making Money with Charles Payne. He's a host on FBN, contributor to Fox News. We can't get enough of him. Charles, well, what do you make of all the brouhaha that took place the last few weeks and the last few days?
Well, full of sound and fury and signifying not much. It certainly wasn't worth all of the teeth gnashing and the anxiety and the hysteria and the talk of implosion. We ended up with a sort of a deal that, honestly, it's sort of run-of-the-mill kind of deal that we always kind of end up with. And the key issues, the key concerns that a lot of people have, what was really striking to me is going into this, the public, the general public, 80% of Republicans say, yeah, this is the right time to cut spending, 2/3 of independents, even about half of Democrats. So even the general public this time around thought this was maybe a golden opportunity to sort of bend the curve, if you will. And again, I feel like we got more or less the same. We've kicked the can down the road. And it's unfortunate that we kicked it down the road even beyond the next election, right? So January 2025, a lame duck session. You'll have even less accountability to the American public. So it's all in all, it's a very disappointing, another very disappointing moment where maybe change could have happened.
You know, Charles, I look at this and I looked at the original proposal the Republicans had, which was very difficult to cobble together, given their very small majority in the different factions within the Republican Party. And there are liberals within the Republican Party. So, I mean, that makes it even tougher. But I have to be honest with you, Charles, even the first proposal, even the proposals I hear from the most conservative members of Congress, they're great if you can get them through and Biden will sign them, which he won't. But even if Biden did sign them, what I'm saying is we have such a structural problem right now, that we do not seem to have the ability under this system to sit down and say, okay, that's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. We have got to put some kind of cap on what we're doing. And if you have elections every 2 years, one Congress can blow off another. Do you agree we have a systemic problem here?
There's absolutely no doubt. We've crossed the Rubicon. And of course, the idea is that you can never go back across it again. But at some point, the worst case scenario plays out. At some point, we do go off that proverbial cliff. And we're already, by the way, paying a price for it. 30 trillion, 31 trillion, soon to be 35 trillion. These numbers are just so mind-boggling that I guess at this point maybe we're numb to them, but there are legitimate consequences to it. And at some point, consequences that can knock America itself off its perch.
What's clear is the last 3 years have been an utter disaster. The pandemic was used as an excuse, mostly by the Democrats, but also Republicans, but mostly the Democrats, to go nuts. Every excuse possible to spend trillions of dollars, really, that we didn't have. Then the following year, the 2 Biden years, they build on top of that. Then they expand government. They want to destroy our energy independence, create climate change, subsidize corporations, even corporations that don't exist yet, money flowing out everywhere, out of every orifice of the federal government. Happens again in 2022 with the help of Republicans in the Senate. Mitch McConnell and 17 or 18 Republicans vote for this monstrous omnibus bill. It drops into the lap of the Republican majority that hadn't even been sworn in with Kevin McCarthy and so forth. And I said, this isn't going to fly. This isn't going to work. All the chest beating and all the rest, if they've only passed my bill. Those guys, too, that bill wouldn't have done a hell of a lot either. I'm just concerned that unless we have some serious discussion about structural changes in this country, we're in deep trouble.
Unfortunately, there is a major move, structural change, but it's not the direction you want, Mark. It's in the exact opposite direction. You just described it.
Yeah.
Modern monetary theory, the idea that government can't ever be too big, that government can never print too much money, that government can never be is always the last solution for everyone, to every one of our problems. In fact, if we allow government to get large enough, we won't have any problems, and that's what we're living under right now.
You're right. And, of course, the only problem we'll have is this, the iron fist of the police state. And the pile gets smaller and smaller. They'll get more and more powerful and decide who gets what and how to redistribute it. And quite frankly, I believe that's what the Democrats want, and I believe some Republicans are foolish enough to go along with it because they don't understand what's taking place.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.